If you want your build to be a demigod in NBA 2K21, like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds. I wouldn't risk it. Yo, YouTube, it's your boy Premier, back today with another banger, and in today's video, we are going to be going over a one-of-a-kind Kevin Durant build. But first things first, before we get too far into the video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn the post notifications on if you haven't already, so you don't miss the next banger. To get started with this build, first things first, when you think of Kevin Durant, I know you don't think point guard, but for the best version of this build, make it a point guard. Handed jersey number, of course, is up to you. Next, for the height, you want to make it 6'7". Originally, Kevin Durant was listed at like 6'9" whenever he entered the league. Kevin Durant is like 7 foot now. Essentially, this is a Kevin Durant demigod build. To create the best version of him, do the weight at 180 pounds, 6'7" height, 6'11" on the wingspan. Next, from there, this is where it starts to get tricky. Go through and max out your three-pointer, your mid-range, max out your ball handling, speed with ball, perimeter defense, basically do all of your core attributes. There's a few different ways you can do this build. I was in the lab cooking up a build. Shout out to Mello the Demi on Twitter. He's about to be partnered on Twitch soon enough. Go check out my guy Mello. He hooked me up with this build. I had cooked up a build like 10, 14, 12, 16, something like kind of balanced. Honestly, not 16, more like 12. It just really wasn't the best. And then he hooked me up with this build. So make sure to pause this, do whatever you need. You need to put the driving layup though on 70, driving dunk on 90, standing dunk on 65. If I'm not mistaken, is how I have it right here. I end up putting it on 71 or 70 is what I ended up putting it on. Okay, honestly, I do play around with this build a lot. I sat here in the lab. I honestly cut down this video from 25 minutes of footage and I cut it down into 8 minutes for y'all. I know you don't want to see the full lab session, but I had to do a lot of cuts in this video because I broke this build down and I tried to get the best version possible of it. So next, from here, go ahead and start upgrading the free throw. After you maxed out the midi, the three-pointer, upgraded the driving layup to a 70, driving dunk to a 90, standing dunk to a 70. You do still have physicals to worry about. I know the 9 defensive badges are nice here, but you can get more with the way this build allows you to do it. Look at that, 18. There are some crazy versions of this build that you can make. This isn't even all the shooting badges you can get. If you do this right, you can get 20 shooting badges with this badge breakdown right here. That's if you do it right. Keyword. If I'm not mistaken, I did figure it out. Or that was cap. That might have been cap, chat. I'm not even gonna lie. That might be 18 on the shooting badges. Like I said though, feel free to just use this as a base for your build. This like 6'7", 6'11" wingspan, lower weight guard build is looking like a Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, whatever, one of the greats. This is looking like a legendary demigod 2K16, 2K15 kind of guard build. Honestly, I feel like at a certain point in the game, if you do not have one of these guard builds, you are going to be left behind, almost like in 20, where there was the two ways. Every year there's a cheesy build. This is going to be the cheesy build. I think we have found it. But next, as you can see, if you sit here and play around with it, you can secure 19 defensive, 19 playmaking, 18 shooting, 7 finishing. This is one of the many versions of this build I ended up designing. I will show you a few different options here with this build, and what version you end up going with is entirely up to you. I ended up securing the 19, 19, 19. That's pretty valid. If I'm not mistaken, I ended up dropping it down to 18 defensive, going with the 20 shooting badges, so it wasn't cap after all. Stop playing with me. Look, I ended up doing it by dropping the stamina, if I'm not mistaken. The stamina, you really don't need it, because once you hit, I think, Superstar 3, you're going to get Gym Rat. Once you hit 99 overall, you're going to get the +4. Combine that with the Gym Rat, that's going to be +8 to all the physicals. That's going to be a huge bonus. So when you're making your build, definitely make sure to keep that in mind, because when I made mine, I ended up securing 7, 20, 19, and 19 by being able to sacrifice some of my physicals by knowing I'm going to receive +8 on those physicals at the maxed out version of this build. Now, I will say this is just build number 1, version number 1 of this like kind of base. I recommend using this video as a base to make your build. If you do not like something that I did, if you would have done it differently, simply take this video as a base and do it differently. But as you can see there, you do not have access to the slashing takeover. When you looked at those takeovers, if you need to rewind, I know I talked over it, rewind if needed, there was no slashing takeover there. That's a huge L in my opinion on this build. So I went back and tweaked it. Feel free to pause this video, whatever needed to secure the attributes. I ended up going back and bumping up the driving layup to a 75, keeping the standing dunk at a 70, bumping up the driving dunk to a 94, maxing it out, and I ended up securing slashing takeover, which allows me to get finishing moves or easy blow bys. Finishing moves is going to be like actually dunking on people. To trigger those animations, you're going to need finishing moves. Easy blow bys is more like the 2K18 kind of cheese. But honestly, limitless range, you have to have that in your build. When I was making this build, I asked myself, what would I want as my takeover? I want to be able to dunk on people, and I want to be able to green almost every single 3. So I had to secure the limitless range takeover. And as you can see, you have built a two-way threat similar to John Wall, Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know how it doesn't have LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, legendary comparisons. This build is underhyped, underrated. Make it for yourself. Try it out. Let me know how you like it. Throw in the Hall of Fame Posterizer, Hall of Fame Slithery, whatever else bronze badges you want. Next, onto the shooting badges. Silver Blinders. I think this is going to be a nice badge this year. Of course, you need Hall of Fame Deep Threes, Hall of Fame Hot Zone Hunter. Bronze Deadeye, I think, is valid. It was at least in current gen. I'm going to try this out. I really don't know. I'm just now getting the game. I still have to test these badges for myself, but just based off my knowledge, gold ankle breaker, gold quick first step, Hall of Fame handles for days, Hall of Fame stop and go is going to be huge in next gen from what I'm hearing. Bronze bailout, bronze unpluckable should be fine there. Really don't think too many people are going to be getting crazy plugs. Maybe drop down the bullet passer, tight handles if you want to max out the unpluckable. It's entirely up to you there what you want to do. From here, Hall of Fame ankle braces, Hall of Fame clamps, Hall of Fame pick dodger. Wow, you could even do one more Hall of Fame badge. You can literally be a lockdown Hall of Fame defender, Hall of Fame shooter, Hall of Fame playmaker, Hall of Fame finisher. There is no other build in the game that will be able to receive this many Hall of Fame badges before Legend. Imagine this build at Legend. It's going to be insane. Play around with these defensive badges. Try it out. Let me know what you think of the build. Rate it 1 through 10 down below. If you make the build, let me know how you like it. Give me some feedback on the video. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Turn the post notices on. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're going to be dropping bangers all year. Your boy's finna start streaming on YouTube too. Premier is finna get in his Duffy. We're streaming on Twitch already. Check out the two-way threat if you haven't already. It's your boy Premier. I'm out. Peace.
It's getting hard to keep composure. They keep trying me. I came from nothing. Now they bumping my songs overseas. I remember when I first started. They do